Peter Schiff.
By the way, stop there. Peter is what I might be to Bitcoin, or what some of us are. Peter is to gold. He's as iconic as they come. He is the face of gold in many ways.
Well, I talk about gold.
You talk about,
and I own some gold, but I mean, my business, I'm asset manager, and I'm in finance and banking. So gold is a part of what I do. It's not all of what I do. But I understand gold. I know what it's about and why people should own it. But, you know, there are a lot of things that people should own that I recommend in addition to gold. Gold is a small part of what I do. But I understand the difference between gold and Bitcoin. So
hold on, sir. We're not there yet, sir. So we're going to start off with a couple of key questions, right? First and foremost, Brock, do you own any gold? You already answered that question.
Yes, I'm one of Peter's clients.
Perfect. Backwards.
And again, this is one of the things that we should all know in life. We don't live in a world that is this or that.
I agree.
Like, we can address economic issues and social issues. It isn't this or. There is only and. You're not limited to one view. Keep learning.
Peter,
yes.
I want you to tell the truth, sir. Do you own any Bitcoin?
Well,
there it is.
No. I technically own a fraction of a Bitcoin.
Right.
But
how many fractions?
No, not even a whole Bitcoin. But I have absolutely no access to it because I don't know the password to the wallet. So it's basically lost. So I own it. I know where it is. I have the address of the wallet, but I just have no ability to actually sell it. But, you know, pretty soon the rest of you will be in the same boat. I mean, you'll have all your Bitcoin, but you'll have no ability to sell it because nobody will want it. So.
All right. Let's get back. We'll save the low blows for later. Just hold on. So let's get back.
And I didn't buy any of that Bitcoin. It was all gifted to me. I've never actually purchased any fraction of a Bitcoin with my money.
That's a really good investment strategy.
I didn't look. I wish I had bought some because I could have sold it, but I didn't.
So this guy here, this is definitely investment advice. So let's take it back a little bit. Peter, why don't you tell me a little bit of how you got into the gold market, and obviously, where is your experience lie there?
Well, I got an appreciation for gold from my father. I mean, my father was a longtime proponent. In fact, he was one of the few people who testified in front of Congress in 1968 when they were doing hearings on whether they should remove the gold backing from U.S. currency. And my father testified that they should not do that. And pretty much all the other experts, the Secretary of the Treasury, the Chairman of the Federal Reserve, they all said that the dollar without gold would be stronger, that we would have less inflation and the gold price would go down. Of course, gold was $35 an ounce. And my father said if we go off the gold standard, the dollar is going to fall, and you're going to have much higher inflation, and it's going to be a big problem. And of course, we went off the gold standard in 1971, and everything my father predicted came true, and everything the experts said they got completely wrong, which is exactly what's going on today.
That's exactly.
You got people like Chairman of the Federal Reserve, Secretary of the Treasury, getting everything just as wrong as their counterparts did in the 1960s.
Like the gold guys are going to be about Bitcoin.
And something worth noting there, a lineage of heroes acknowledging and recognizing a lot of the things that we all see here. We have a lot more in common than we realize. The only thing that we debate is what the right answer is going forward, but we have a lot in common. People like Peter Schiff and Ron Paul and these people are the ones that brought a lot of what we see wrong in this country right now and with our monetary system. They were the ones that taught us and helped pioneer a lot of what's happening here.
Perfect.
That deserves respect.
Hopefully the spirit can live on long after Bitcoin dies.
By the way, I've been trying to get these guys to debate this for about a year now, so you guys just now coming around to this. But then ultimately, Brock, what led you into Bitcoin?
What led me into Bitcoin? Well, it started with, I guess, games. I was a very active gamer in my youth, and collecting baseball cards and Magic the Gathering, and when the internet and gaming converged, where we had persistent worlds, where your assets would live on even when you logged out of the game, and that they were multiplayer and those things were alienable, I acknowledged the potential for a market. And so back in the late 90s, I became the biggest first market maker of digital assets. And then that became digital currency as the Ultima Onlines and EverQuests and World of Warcrafts emerged. I built up a team of about 400,000 people that played video games professionally, mostly in China, to mine those digital currencies. We were PayPal's largest merchant for years, instrumental in the launching of Alipay, moving billions and billions of dollars across borders where there were currency controls. And that's what I did for a decade before Bitcoin. And so for me, it was inevitable.
Perfect. And what do you think about scarcity, Mr. Schiff?
Well, I mean, when it comes to something like Bitcoin, obviously that's your question. Look, gold is scarce because there's not a lot of gold, around. Bitcoin is scarce because there's an artificial constraint on its supply. But gold is scarce and very valuable. Bitcoin is scarce and worthless. And gold is scarce and its value is very unique in that, the things that you can do with gold, you can't do with a lot of other metals, or if you could do it, you can't do it as well, or you can't do it at all. But there's more than 15,000, cryptocurrencies, 15,500 maybe right now. I mean, I lose count because the supply is growing so rapidly. And as far as I'm concerned, there's very little difference between them. I mean, to debate gold versus Bitcoin, to me, doesn't even make any sense because Bitcoin and gold have absolutely nothing in common. I mean, if you want to debate Bitcoin versus Ethereum or Bitcoin versus EOS or Bitcoin versus Dogecoin or CumRocket or any of these coins, that's a debate that might make sense because at least Bitcoin has something in common with CumRocket. But it doesn't have anything in common with gold.
Brock, look at me.
I love Peter.
Mr. Peace.
But also very important in life to surround yourself with people that have a different perspective.
Brock.
It's how you learn.
You dropped your wallet. We might have an earthquake in San Juan. Brock. Okay, so look at me, Mr. Pierce. Look at me clearly. I need you to stop being nice to Mr. Schiff. He's not being nice. Brock, how do you think
we're
about
here
scarcity?
For your entertainment.
How do you feel about scarcity, sir?
Well, scarcity, I mean, obviously is core to why gold is an interesting asset and why I hold some gold. I hold more crypto, but I'm not. These are not mutually exclusive ideologies.
That's the problem. You can't hold crypto. It doesn't exist.
It depends on your definition. Remember,
your imagination.
I'm a little younger, and I grew up, in the world of technology. Like, it's innate. It's basically in my DNA. And so, the question is, yes, are they scarce? Absolutely. Bitcoin is more scarce, and I understand the difference because it's intangible, and it was designed. Its scarcity was by design, not of the natural world, but of the digital world. But one of the other things is, Bitcoin's scarcity is in obviously decline as the mining rewards, and halvings continue to occur. And I'm not sure that's a good thing for humanity in the long run, but that's a whole other debate.
How many Satoshis are there?
The point I want to make...
They don't seem very scarce to me.
Well, it's divisibility, and that's one of the reasons why, again, if you want to talk about why gold, why this, right? You've got scarcity is core to where value comes from, right? It has to be malleable. You have to be able to take it apart and make it into different denominations. It has to be transportable. It has to be non-spoilable. You wouldn't want it rotting under your mattress or whatever that is. It needs to be fungible, like why diamonds are not. These are very specific attributes of why we ascribed value to gold historically. Those are the core reasons. One of the things,
Brock, that's why gold is useful as money. That's not why gold is valuable in the first place. And sure, you can divide Bitcoin, but when you're dividing gold, you're dividing something. When you're dividing Bitcoin, you're dividing nothing. And the thing is, even if I have one Satoshi, I can do as much with one Satoshi as you could do with a whole Bitcoin because I can't do anything with either. But, you could do a lot more with an ounce of gold than you can with a gram.
Before we continue, help us clicking that YouTube like button and subscribe now to our channel. This shows the algorithm that you valued this information. And it helps us spread that message. Sharing is caring. And now, let's continue.
Do you want to know one thing about crypto? I made over 3000% in profit in a few weeks. Fact is, the traditional financial system, the traditional money system makes you poor, not rich. If you want to earn $500,000, $1 million, you have to wait until you're 50, 60, 70 in the traditional financial system, and you probably will still be broke. And you will be old. This is not a sexy combination, as you can imagine. But the question is, how can you start in crypto and make these profits? Where to invest? Where to start? My name is Gunnar and I'm from Germany, as you can hear, and things are a little bit different in Germany. More about that later on. Fact is, there are lots of different cryptocurrencies. It's a gigantic universe where beginners and professionals get easily lost. But there is light at the end of the tunnel. There are 7 key steps you need to follow to become successful in this market. You have to know them, and if you fail one of them, it's literally impossible to succeed in this market. Just an example, one of the key points is your exchange, and one of the biggest are, for example, Binance and Coinbase. These are trusted and well-established exchanges, but, and this is a big but, you won't find the super profitable coins on those exchanges. The unknown super profitable coins that get gigantic profits are not traded on those kind of exchanges. They are traded on much smaller insider platforms that are barely known. And I can tell you what those super secret exchanges are and why they are so profitable. And another super important thing are the right information sources. The point is, the internet is gigantic. There are hundreds and hundreds of YouTube channels, blogs, pages, and much more. And there are also market makers and influencers. For example, Elon Musk, he is not a crypto guy, but the moment he recommended Dogecoin, it went through the roof, to the moon, so to say. But why did he recommend it? Where did he hear it from? He didn't hear it from newspapers. And believe me, he is listening to someone. But you have to know who, and you have to react before he is reacting. This is really, really important. And these are only 2 of the 7 steps you have to follow in order to be successful in crypto. And if you want to know all of these steps in much more detail, and if you want to have a comprehensive checklist, here's what you should do. There is a link below this video. Click on this link and you will get the opportunity to subscribe to my channel. Click on the link and you will see a video where I explain the next steps. So see you soon. Click on the link now. I'll see you there.